Now we're going to move into a little bit of overreaction, underreaction. We're each going to go through an overreaction we have from week one. Again, overreaction doesn't mean we necessarily completely think this way, and then an underreaction where I'm not concerned. So we'll go around and do overreaction first. Peter, what is your overreaction for the week?
Overreaction is the Chiefs. They're terrible. They're washed. They don't have anybody. I'm kidding. But genuinely, like, the overreaction is like, if the Chiefs don't figure out their receiver situation, they are not going to be as good, period.
Yeah.
Because look, Travis Kelce is probably going to go down as, you can look at it as the greatest tight end of all time. Personally, I think there's more to a tight end position than just catching. But I think receiving wise, he is hands down, bar none, the greatest receiving tight end of all time. There is no debate there. Personally, Gronk's a better blocker and overall player, but whatever. But that's one guy. And when your number 2 option is Kadarius Toney, number 3 option is Sky Moore, and they combined for like 5 drops alone, you're not going to win games.
Yeah.
And their run game is fine, but that's, again, not going to win you games.
But it's not like they got dogs back there.
No, it's like they have Jerick McKinnon, and then they had Isaiah Pacheco. Well, Isaiah Pacheco is a dog.
He's a dog, but he's not like the dog.
Yeah, he's like kind of one of those. He's like an Australian Shepherd where they're like very, very, a lot of bark, and they like fight like cows and stuff. But like they can get thrown.
But has Pacheco ever really have 100 yards rushing?
I don't think so.
No.
He's a very angry runner though. He gets the yards. He is exactly the type of running back the Chiefs need when they have offensive weapons on the outside. And
which is not what they have.
They don't have that anymore. Because I think someone that was really underrated for them was Juju Smith-Schuster. He's on the Patriots now. And he was
MVS was really big in the Super Bowl.
MVS, and again, I think MVS was playing today, or not today. He was playing on Thursday. But again, it's like when you only have one option and you can just throw 2 people on MVS is kind of going to get locked down. He's good. He's not that good though. And I think Juju was a great like 3rd down option. He's always been a very reliable receiver where like you throw it to him, he's going to catch it. Like,
it was today too. He had a few catches during the Eagles-Patriots game.
Exactly. But then, God, yeah, I think the Chiefs just need to cut Kadarius Toney right now. He's a cancer. He already deleted his Twitter because he was too busy typing on Twitter on his burner account and yelling at Giants fans who were like 12 years old, calling him stupid.
Yeah.
And he was trying to flex on him, and no one cared. But whatever, he's a weirdo.
Yeah.
But yeah, overreaction is the Chiefs 100%.
Yeah.
I think they need to. This could get bad. Of course, it's the Chiefs.
I think the big interesting overreaction is, what if they're not good enough to win a division and they don't have home field advantage through the playoffs and they're on the road every game?
Yeah, they're not an Arrowhead, because Arrowhead is a big home field advantage, and they lost to the Detroit Lions.
Yep. Raj, what's your overreaction for the week?
No, I don't really. It's. I don't know if it's. I don't want this to sound like a hot take, but I don't know. I'm trying to make
this. It's the overreaction.
It's the overreaction.
It's hot takes, right?
Yes,
okay, I'm just making
hot
sure.
take, overreaction, like.
I wouldn't call it a hot take. I'm not. You're not the ones making a take on anything.
No, it's just genuinely like, what are you overreacting to? Like, what do you think could be like? Oh, this could be something really important in the future.
I think this game for the Steelers proved nothing. I think this game was just a fluke game.
That's not an overreaction. That's an underreaction.
Oh shit. Well, Sam Howell is him.
Okay, so Raj has no overreaction.
Okay, so he didn't have a take today.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we'll be back to him next week. My overreaction, on the other hand, is the Steelers. I think when you are getting all this attention about potentially being a sleeper team, Mike Tomlin you always winning record, never had a losing season, all this kind of stuff. Kenny Pickett, he's going to be in his 2nd year, and you come out and you drop a goose egg at home, and you've got the Bengals in your division. Because now the Steelers are down 0-1 in the division. They've lost the game. You've got the Bengals who, it's going to sound a little complicated. The Ravens won. They're going to be good. They're going to be in the fight.
Yep.
Now the Bengals are 0-1. And the best case for the Steelers was that the Bengals were going to be really good, like 17-0.
And then you
would get the wild card spot in there.
Yep.
But now you're going to have to play a Bengals team who's going to be more in the mix for the wild card spot, maybe not the division lead. And I think that's really scary for the Steelers. Their quarterback didn't look great today. That concerns me.
Yeah.
And you're going to have a lot of tough interdivision games. Like, it's likely you could go 0-2 against the Bengals. You're going to play some tough Raven games. I think you really wanted to have a strong start to the season with Kenny Pickett. And Now you've got to go into some other games. I don't know how hard their schedule is. Maybe it'll work out for them, but my overreaction is the Steelers had their first losing season with Mike Tomlin, and
That
they're
would
kind of
suck,
scratching
yeah.
their head about what to do with the whole offense, especially second year, Matt Canada, Kenny Pickett. That'll be
Yep.
my overreaction.
Mhm.
And then I guess that's Rodgers' underreaction. Do you want to say why you're underreacting to the Steelers' big loss?
I think, I mean, your first game, I mean, they did play in the preseason. Kenny looked good, and, the analysts were like, oh, Steelers.
Perfect passer rating
Yeah.
in the preseason.
Exactly.
They won the preseason.
Yeah. Congrats. The Ravens do that every season. But,
Not this year.
yeah.
Finally
you're
snapped
right.
the streak.
Sam Howell is him. But what I think is it's like with the Steelers, you're put up against the best defense in the NFL. And they probably have, a top 3 offense, too?
From what it looks like so far, they might.
Yeah. If that is your first game of the season, obviously.
Sorry, I forgot. We completely forgot to. We glossed over the fact that Brandon Ayuk might have finally broken out after his 10th
Oh, yeah.
year of saying that he's going to break out.
Yeah.
He actually might this year. Sorry. Continue.
I know. But still, I think this game, it's like the punch in the mouth kind of analogy.
Yeah,
The Steelers needed to be humbled a little bit. They'll figure out what's going wrong with them. And who are they playing next week?
I'll
Does anyone
check.
know? Who types the fastest?
I like how I said all check. All of me.
Yeah, all of
Go
us
for
just,
it.
Ooh, Browns.
I
mean,
they're screwed.
But here's what I'll say, and that's part of my overreaction. If the Steelers lose to the Browns and the Browns are 2-0, and you're gonna have to play with the Bengals and Ravens, I think you are. Fortunately, the Ravens and Bengals play each other, but that's my overreaction.
Mhm.
I just think it's a really tough loss.
Yep.
Mhm.
So then we go into underreactions now.
Yep.
All right, underreaction. Bengals.
Yeah.
They look. Joe Burrow basically didn't play for the past 2 weeks because he had it was like a hamstring thing.
Hamstring,
It
yeah.
was like a hamstring thing. He just got paid $270 million guaranteed. The weather was awful out there. And what is their big thing that they like to do? Pass the ball. And what can't you do when it's pouring? Pass the ball.
What can Nick
So-
Chubb do it when it's pouring?
Run the ball. Yeah, again, that's just one of those divisional games that's like, look, it's the AFC North. They are the street rat division. It doesn't matter what record they are, they will fight each other to the death, and no matter how good or how bad some team is, it's gonna be a close game. It's very, very rare for one of those games to really get out of hand. And I think it was just very obvious that they just had a lot of the Bengals had a lot of rust. They needed to figure
Also,
some
The
stuff
Bengals
out.
were terrible to start last year too.
They were,
And
and
they
they
were
were
in the
terrible.
conversation.
And then
they lost to the Steelers game 1.
they lost to the Steelers game 1. Everybody likes to ignore that. The Steelers were bad, and then somehow it's like there's that hilarious picture of Jamar Chase flipping off Minka Fitzpatrick, and then Minka Fitzpatrick blocks the extra point and wins the game basically. So yeah, it's just one of those games.
Yep.
It's the AFC North. Don't read into it too much. They'll figure it out. It's the Bengals.
Yep.
They will figure it out. They have way too much on offense to not figure it out.
Yeah, I think worst case scenario, you're looking at a wild card spot in the
Which-
playoffs.
Oh no.
Yeah.
You'll still make it.
My big underreaction, and maybe it's not a crazy I'm underreacting, is I could be less concerned about the Vikings.
Yeah.
I was not impressed by the Bears. I was not impressed by the Lions and the Packers. Not going to take too many conclusions away from that game. So I think the Vikings are absolutely fine. If you don't have 2 fumbles, you win the game.
Yeah.
They're probably going to go 0-2 because they're playing the Eagles next week. But after that, I think you can string some wins together. Division game. I think you'll win the division.
Yeah.
I'm just not concerned about the Vikings. I actually thought their offense looked really good today. Aside from those turnovers with Kirk. So
Yeah, and a lot of those, it's those will get cleaned up pretty quick. That's literally just hey Kirk, can you make sure that your hand is actually just on this guy's nuts to make sure you get the ball?
Yep.
That's just whatever.
So could not be concerned about the Vikings. And for what it's worth, they held the Bucks to 20 points today, which is better than they were holding teams at the end of last year. So
Mhm.
could not be concerned about the Vikings.
No.